You're just like dreading
Yeah.
it, like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's just not fun.
And the terrible bridge of children.
Exactly.
Of children.
The bridge of
Even if
that
you
what we're
want
gonna
to
call
take revenge
the
on those
terrible
kids, by the
bridge of
time you
children.
actually get off the ride, then they've already ran away. So
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. What
Well, I
they're
mean-
gonna stand there and wait for these crazy college kids to come and be like, "Hey, you little kids, I'm gonna go," like." No, of course they're gonna run away.
true.
I'm not that college kid that's gonna go beat up a little kid though, so I think Lauren might be.
Maybe throw him over the bridge.
Oh my god!
For all who comes to this goofy place, welcome.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Goofy Scoop. It's me, Gray, and I'm here with Jeff as always. But today we have a very special guest with us, one of our very closest friends from our Disney College program in the fall of 2019, Lauren Johnson. What's up, girl? How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for asking. Lauren, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us where you worked and a little bit about yourself.
I worked at Port Orleans Riverside, and I was a concierge, and then while I was there I got trained for runner, and I live in Denver, Colorado now, and yeah, that's about it.
If you wanted to do any other job on your Disney College program, what would it have been? Would you have switched?
Oh gosh, could I have chosen any job or jobs within the DCP?
Any job. Let's just say any job.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it would have been fun to be a VIP tour guide.
I could see you doing that.
I think everyone would love to be a VIP tour guide.
I know. It'd be fun to be able to ride the rides though, and you're like in the parks all day, but you just get to talk to people and hang out with them.
Well, Lauren, I think you're in luck because maybe you can help us out a little bit today.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about?
Maybe you can be our VIP tour guide for Animal Kingdom as we talk about Disney's Animal Kingdom.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was a fantastic segue. Shout out to you. That was awesome.
Hey. But,
I know it ruins it, me like pointing it out and saying that was a great segue, but that was really good.
Yeah, it wasn't scripted, by the way, guys. Was not scripted. But anyway, so we're going to kind of go ahead and do like what we did with Hollywood Studios and with Magic Kingdom and talk about things that we like and things that we don't like. So Lauren, go ahead and kick it off with Disney's Animal Kingdom. What is one thing right off the bat that you either love or you want Disney to get rid of when it comes to Animal Kingdom?
I love when you first walk in and there's giant like trees and plants everywhere, and you feel like you've gone into another world away from Florida and palm trees and everything like that. I just like that you can be so close to so much greenery and nature as soon as you get into the park.
That's a great place to start, is right at the front. That's awesome. And truly the best part of the front of the park, let's all be honest, the Rainforest Cafe. Anybody else?
No.
You
can go to Disney Springs or any other local mall, and they more than likely have a Rainforest Cafe.
You're right. I just no, not
okay, good.
At all. I just wanted to see your reactions.
No, yeah. I mean, Lauren does have a point too, because it basically goes straight from parking lot, a bunch of concrete. It goes from a concrete jungle basically to a Disney's version of a jungle in the middle of Florida. And did you guys ever see the girl on like the tall, like I'll just say walking sticks? I don't remember her name. You didn't like her?
Like,
she made you uncomfy.
She was like covered in ivy. That girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was her name Ivy?
That'll be our name for her.
Yeah. We can call her Ivy.
Shout out to Ivy. But Lauren, you didn't like her?
Girl named Ivy.
No, she was scary. I did not want her to walk near me ever.
Lauren is scared of everything.
Oh, good thing you can go either right or left.
It's weird. I don't like that.
Okay.
Well, I think you'd be fine now.
maybe if I saw it from a distance, but just like I don't want to get a picture with that thing, you know?
Wow. Hey, she's a
That's
person.
depressing. All right, Lauren, you're walking into Animal Kingdom. You see the great greenery. It's really pretty. You know you're in Animal Kingdom because of the jungle feel. Where do you go? Do you go left towards Pandora or do you go right towards Dino Land?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about if you want to get on rides, then I'd be going straight for Flight of Passage. But I think, I mean, either way, you have to walk up that hill and you're kind of like, where are we going? Because you don't see any rides or anything like when you walk into the other parks. But then as soon as you come up over the hill and you see the Tree of Life, it's like so cool because it's so big. And I feel like that's like the center of that whole park. But I mean, I think Pandora is cooler at night. So I'd probably be going over to the dinosaur area first.
Yeah, I do like how Pandora does glow at night. And one of my favorite pictures with everybody is when we have that Tree of Life in the background. Which it's funny how that works because Disney's Animal Kingdom, I'm not gonna lie, it's my least favorite park. I'll still go, but it's my least favorite. But then of course my favorite picture with everybody is at that park. So
yeah, all the colors there are amazing. But I do
it's
think
like it's so real. It is real. There's like real animals, but like it feels so real. Like you get the humidity of Florida because it's hot, but also there's been like studies and tests done. Animal Kingdom is actually the hottest park because of all of the like real greenery and like real vegetation.
it feels like a jungle. But I feel like going into the dinosaur land, I don't like how it's themed with like carnival rides and stuff like that. Because I feel like people just paid all this money to get in and then they're like, we have to pay to play these carnival games. And I feel like every time we were walking around, we never saw anyone at any of those games.
Yeah, there's very little traffic there.
Yeah.
Okay, but we've talked about this on a past episode, Jeff and I have. Lauren, do you know the story of Dino Land? Like, do you know why it's a carnival?
No, I don't.
Okay. So,
you ready to be mind blown?
Yeah, here we go. The gas station that's there was like a mom and pop shop and like was owned by a couple. And people would go there to explore the dinosaurs and like see the dinosaurs. So they like had this gas station, had a bunch of traffic. But then all the dinosaurs went extinct. And so the couple wasn't making any money. And so they made the carnival games to like make money to bring people in to like have fun, the carnival games and the rides and everything. That's why it's themed like that. To bring people in to make more money so they could like keep living there. And then the dinosaur ride, the Dino Institute, is like the scientists coming in to study the dinosaurs.
Oh, I never knew that.
So, yeah, it makes a little bit more sense when it like is explained.
Yeah, that's true. I still do like the dinosaur ride though.
You do?
I do like it.
I think they're planning on getting rid of that pretty soon.
What?
I remember seeing a post. Now, don't quote me on this, but I do remember seeing a post that I think that they were thinking about getting rid of dinosaur because that is my girlfriend, like one of her favorite rides. I don't know why. It's an okay ride. I don't know why it's one of her favorites, but it's one of her favorites. And she was like devastated when she saw that post. I think it came across Facebook and I think it was like a pretty official like post, but I don't know. Wow. I don't know how long it'll take if they actually are switching it because they said even Splash Mountain to Princess Tiana's theming is going to take way longer than they thought it was going to be. But I think they are switching it.
I mean, Dinosaur is a really old ride, but I feel like it's pretty unique. Like I can't think of really any rides that are similar to it. It is old, that's for sure. And it's too loud. I always plug my ears every time I ride it.
I feel like if you get rid of Dinosaur, you have to get rid of Dino Land, like period. Like Dinosaur is kind of the draw to it.
Exactly.
And Jeff, like we mentioned on another past episode, you can't get rid of Dino Land because Triceratops Spin is the only Dumbo ride in Animal Kingdom. You gotta have it.
Yeah, they'll find a way to keep it. Hey, they'll put it at the front of the park. Did you know? Okay, before we keep going back to like what you like and what you don't like, did you know that they were actually going to have like um a beast section? Like they were going to have like a dragon, like a mystical creature section. I don't know exactly what they were going to call it, but if you realize at the very front of the park, when it comes to like the elephant, and I know that there's an elephant up there, but you know, like that the animal heads up there at like the entrance of the park.
Hmm.
If you look on the very far left, walking into the park, you'll see a dragon head, and they're supposed to have like a mystical creature world as well. So they could possibly they could do something with that,
That's true.
but I don't know.
Dinosaurs are kind of mystical, so
Yeah, as long as they have wings and can fly and breathe fire.
like Triceratops, perfect.
They're gonna install
Okay,
some
so
wings and fire on Triceratops.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, that ride is it's definitely a
Stupid.
child's ride. We'll just say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And
Okay.
Gray, you love it, so you know.
Okay, look, I love it, but I love it for a specific reason. The first time I ever went to Animal Kingdom with Kylie, we rode Triceratops spin together, and they were playing High School Musical at like the Chip and Dale like dance party thing or whatever. And we
Yeah.
were belting it out, and Chip and Dale were pointing at us while we were singing going around Triceratops because they could hear us. And there's a wonderful video of that. I'll have to find it and show it to you, but it's fantastic. Just say
Yeah, I need to see that
that's
video
why I
as
love
well.
that ride. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, but leaving Dino Land, USA.
Okay.
All right, Lauren, where are you going? What are you keeping? What are you getting rid of? What are you putting on the chopping block?
Well, I was going to say if we backtrack a little to the Tree of Life, underneath there's a very special ride that I hate.
Not a ride.
It's Tough to Be a Bug. You remember that one? Yeah.
That's the best.
That ride, I don't even know how that ride has stayed in existence for so long because it's terrible. It's scary. It smells bad. And I mean, there's never a line because it's not a desirable ride. You ride it once and you're like, well, that was a waste of 5 minutes, you know? I just feel like it's a pointless. I would rather just sit on a bench for 5 minutes than go through that ride. It like
the show
it
is like 15
traumatizes you
minutes
from
long.
all angles. Like
What's the point? It's a
smelling
4D show.
spray that they spray. The spiders come down from the ceiling. The bugs go under your butt while you're sitting on the seat. There's just so much that I hate about that ride.
Do you like the hornets that come and sting you in the back?
No.
Okay, I do hate that.
Yeah.
Okay. So after the first time I ever watched that show, every time after that, I would like sit forward so the hornets wouldn't get me. But everything else
I do
was
a
fine.
wall sit, so I'm not sitting on the chair at all. I don't want it crawling under me or on the side of me, you know, and then I'm holding my breath the whole time. It's just nothing is fun about that.
Did you guys ever go on that ride with somebody that it was like there for, I guess it's not a ride. It's more so like a theatrical show.
It's a 4D show.
Yeah. But have you guys ever gone on that ride with like somebody that it was their first time and you just like knew? You were just like waiting for those moments. I love that.
Every time I went to Animal Kingdom with someone that like was coming to visit or like had never been, I was like, we have to go see It's Tough to Be Like, it's so good, just to see their reaction. Like that was the only reason I wanted to go.
And now I wish I would have seen Lauren on it.
Oh, well, when my sister came to visit, she and I did not want to go on it. I just wanted to save her from it. But I think AJ came for a little bit and he was like, no, we have to go on it. And I was like, no, I don't, it's terrible. And so anyways, we wrote it. But then I was telling my sister all the spoilers because I didn't want her to be tortured by the ride. So I was like,
that is
sit
not
up a little bit.
Yeah, that's not fair. Come on.
That's not fun at all.
I know, but it just traumatized me. So I didn't want her to be traumatized, you know?
Okay, so if you got rid of It's Tough to Be a Bug, what would you put under the Tree of Life? Like bugs are the only thing that makes sense to go in the roots of the tree.
I mean, I guess really only a show can be done underneath there, but I don't know. There's plenty of shows I could come up with that would not traumatize little children.
See, I think you could do like still do a Bugs Life show. Because like it's still a Disney movie, it's still like bugs that they're under the tree. but just don't make it like creepy crawly.
Yeah, that's fair. They need
But
to
it's
update that.
but it's normal for bugs to be kind of creepy crawly. So I think it is kind of good to keep guests on their toes, like with having the people go under the, it's like, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, and it's like, you know,
Yeah, it is a memorable ride. I'll give it that. But
yeah,
Which is why we should keep it.
yep.
Never touch
okay, well,
Even though you hate
Sorry,
it,
Lauren, your
which-
opinion's wrong.
Okay, so going over into Asia, obviously, as soon as you're walking up there, you see Everest and you hear the screams of people riding it. And I think that that's obvious. I know it's obviously a really popular ride, but even just seeing it, like the whole mountain from far away, it looks ginormous. And I love how you can see everyone when they're dropping in. And I feel like that really draws people to that ride because the mountain is just such a big part of that area of the park. And I love the queue line in that roller coaster too, just because I like how it's themed with Mount Everest, obviously, and they have all the photos and the different artifacts, and you feel like you're, at a base camp, and I really like that.
yeah, the theming for that ride is incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
And then even like you said, with making the mountain look so huge, I mean,
Mhm.
when you're actually going through the ride, you're like, okay, like obviously this isn't big, but they did a very
Right.
good job with, I don't know the term. I should know this.
Force perspective.
There you go. I was about to say I'm an art major and I let that slip my mind. How dare I? But yeah, Disney's incredible with doing that. So
Yeah.
that
And-
ride right. And then the Imagineer, who was like super involved with that, the guy with the earring. I think his first name's John. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Gosh, he's in like every Disney Plus like behind the attraction series thing ever because he designed everything.
Yeah, and he just recently retired not too long ago too, which stinks for us. But I mean, he did such a good job with Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love no. I used to hate Expedition Everest. Sorry, I was like, I don't know where I was going.
I was like,
The
wait,
first time
what?
The first time I ever rode it, I hated it. I was like, this is awful. And that's where my iconic photo of me like screaming, like looking like a I
Yeah,
don't even know.
I've
like,
seen that photo. Yeah,
person, comes from. Jeff, you might have to like edit that in here so people can see it. But this photo is like crazy of me. I look ridiculous. But that's where that comes from. And then like people kept making me ride it because they're like, it's the best ride. And eventually I started to love it. But yeah, at first I did not enjoy it at all.
yeah.
I
And
just
have
love
you
all the
guys?
drops.
Yeah.
What was it, Lauren?
Oh, I was just saying, I just love how many big drops it has, and even when you think that you've got to the end and then it starts to go backwards. I like how there's not a lot of roller coasters that, I mean, that one you don't expect that it's gonna go backwards, but then all of a sudden it, and you can feel that it's taking you to a different track to line up to go down the big hill. But it has big drops, which I really like.
Yeah, which I do love how it goes backwards, but I know it's kind of hard with all the hydraulics and everything, but what really gives it away on like, oh, we're about to go backwards is number one, you got no track in front of you and you're on a roller coaster. So it's not a 30-second ride. And then second is you hear the loud and it's just like, okay, that's obvious.
True, that's
Here
true.
we go.
I wish
How
that they
terrible
could
would it be,
hide that a
though?
little bit.
How terrible would it be though if like the train like came to the end of the track and they're like, all right, that's it, gotta get off. And like you have to hike back down the mountain.
Yeah.
Like
Did you
that
see
was
the
actually
Yeti?
the end. Yeah. Like,
I always find it strange that people always throw their ponytail holders up onto that
yeah,
part
their
of the
hair
mountain while
ties.
you're waiting for it to go
There's
backwards.
so many
Yeah.
out there. It's ridiculous.
I don't know why they don't like clean that off or something.
I was just say it doesn't surprise me that guests do that. What surprises me is that Disney doesn't clean that as
Yeah.
often as they should.
I think
sure.
I feel like it became like a tradition or something, and then they just
Yeah.
or like people are gonna keep doing it, so there's no point in
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would suck to have to go up there every night or every early morning before opening, or like after closing before opening. This is like with
Yeah.
hair
Yeah,
ties
they're all the
again.
ponytails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who needs a hair tie? I got them all right here.
yeah. Take them up to the front of the park.
Oh,
Anybody needs one for the rides today?
Yeah.
right.
That'd
$5.
That'd come in handy, actually.
be so gross.
Oh man.
Have you guys ever eaten at Yak and Yeti restaurant? I've never eaten there.
I ate there a couple times.
Have you? Is
Just
the
the
food
quick
good?
service.
I've gone to the quick
It's not
service. I have
bad.
not gone to the sit down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have not gone to the sit down. I did the quick service.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're all in the same boat now. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if it's like the same food or what. To be honest with you, I've always wanted to eat there. I just never have. It's always just been the quick service. You get your food and you go around the corner and you go sit at those tables over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
I
that
always
spot
got like
because I feel like there's not a lot of places you can go and get any kind of vegetable. And so I like that you can get, something more that's not like fried to oblivion, And I feel like they have a lot of tables back there that you can sit at, which is really nice.
It's a nice
Honestly,
resting area.
Animal Kingdom in general is like the place that if you want like different food, that's kind of where you go. Like they have Pizza
Yeah.
Fari, so you can like still get pizza. Like they have really weird food in Pandora. And then Yak and Yeti has a lot more like healthy options and like things like that. And so I think if you want something different, Animal Kingdom's the place to go.
It really is, yeah.
Definitely.
And
So
then
then as you're
moving
like
on-
walking, I like how they have those monkeys just in the center of that large cage.
Yeah.
They just have like 2 of them in there, but it's fun that it just feels like there's no space between you and them. And you can just
Mhm.
watch them like crawling all around, and they have those giant trees and the ropes and all of that stuff. And they have like a huge habitat that they're in. And I think that's just a fun kind of side, little area that they have that you can just be walking by and see monkeys. And that's one of the things that I really like about this park is that at none of the other parks you can see animals except for this one.
It's true. Which makes sense why it's called Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, it's
Listen.
it's basically like a very, very classy, very,
If you say glorified
I mean-
zoo, I'm gonna punch you.
very glorified zoo.
I
Okay,
wouldn't
well.
call it a zoo. A zoo is set up just to see animals. There's so much more at Animal Kingdom.
Thank you, Jeff.
And
Oh yeah, 100%.
Great.
But when it comes to, like for instance, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I'll go ahead and just mention it now. Like Kilimanjaro Safaris. It's like a really classy, really glorified zoo. Like you don't get to do that at any other zoo. Disney's like, hey, we're going to take it one step farther and we're going to put you on a safari and you're going to go see all these animals up close instead of through glass or, through cages or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
This.
I think that
But
that
before
is
we,
a huge. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Lauren, because I'm about to transition.
Oh, we can't skip over Kilimanjaro safaris like that.
No,
we're
we're
not
not.
there
I'm
yet.
going
We're
back
not
to Asia.
there yet. There's so much to
Okay,
cover.
that's fine. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
right
fine.
Don't
across
don't get
from-
too excited. Slow
right
your
across
roll, girl.
from the monkeys, Lauren. Your absolute favorite ride in all of Disney World is the Kali River Rapids.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Oh.
That's what I was going to transition into. I hate that ride. I hate water rides, except for
Thank
Splash
you.
Mountain. I can tolerate it.
I love
Kali River
water
Rapids, go.
No,
rides.
it's super short. If you
is really
get in
short.
the one spot where all the water falls on you, like I was in, it's not fun and everyone laughs at you. I just feel like it's such a short ride and it's not very thrilling. It's like that
There's
is a
one
glorified
drop.
lazy
There's,
river.
like,
I'm gonna say it.
There's one drop in it that's like okay, that's like kind of
Exactly.
scary. But then the part that I think is the most annoying is the very end before you're about to unload, and
When
the
people,
people on the
shoot
bridge
water
can
things.
control the gun thingies.
Oh,
That is
Hate it.
obnoxious. Those
Hate
need
it.
to
That-
go.
yeah, that sucks.
I mean,
I'm
it's
okay with
super
the
fun
ride.
if you're on the bridge shooting people, but otherwise,
But like to me, not
Shooting with
really.
people, shooting people with water.
Unless
Yeah.
you are like a child, or you are a parent or like a relative or a friend of someone who's on the ride. That's when it's fun. No other time is it fun.
exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah. At our age, it's just like, whose kid is this?
Well, and you get stuck. You always get stuck, like waiting for the next boat to move. So you just sit there, and people are just like constantly like, like that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny like one time. It's not funny anymore after that.
Oh
I
yeah.
do like the idea of them having a water ride at Animal Kingdom because it seems fitting, especially with like, the theme of nature and the jungle and having like a river, like the river rapids, but it's not an exciting water ride. And I think they should update that.
I haven't
I
been on
do
it in
wish it
years.
was-
I refuse.
Oh,
I don't even know. I don't even remember the layout.
I was forced to go
I-
on it one day. I told them one time during our whole program, I will ride this
Yeah, that was
ride.
there.
And we went that day. I didn't wear jean shorts. I didn't wear makeup. I wore a hat for my hair because it was just going to be a mess. And then I was literally the only one that got wet on the whole ride. And it was terrible.
I'm
And then
pretty
was
sure
wet
I
for
remember
hours.
that.
At least she prepared. God knew.
I did because I was
God
like,
knew.
I can't just
But
be coming
see-
here on a random day.
But see, you say you got wet. You were wet for hours. Every time I got wet, it was like 10 minutes later, I was dry.
Oh no, no,
Maybe
no,
I
no,
just-
sir. I don't know what magic you're running over there. But dude, that's why I don't do water rides because I feel like I'm moderately enjoyable to go to the parks with. Especially if we're in a group. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do what the group wants to do. And I'm like, I don't try to control or anything. But
Right.
you get my socks and my underwear wet, I'm done. I'm like, see ya. You guys have a good one. I'll be at the room.
I think we're just gonna have to go back and ride it again because I have never gotten that wet on that ride, and I've ridden it. I'm gonna say at least 10 times.
It's like
If I ride that
roulette,
ride-
though. If you get in the bad seat, then you're screwed.
Yeah, if I ride that
just
ride
been
again,
really
it's going to
lucky
be
then.
a point of view video on YouTube.
I like that. See, Splash Mountain is so much better because it's worth it to get wet because there's all the drops, which is fun. But the river rapids, it's just like fountains coming from overhead, like giant waterfalls. And then you're just like dreading
Yeah.
it, like, oh my gosh, it's just not fun.
And the terrible bridge of children.
Exactly.
of children.
The bridge
You
of
Is that
really
what we're
want
gonna
to
call
take
it?
revenge
The
on those
terrible
kids. By the
bridge of
time you
children.
actually get off the ride, then they've already ran away. So
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. What
Well, I
they're
mean-
gonna stand there and wait for these crazy college kids to come and be like, "Hey, you little kids, I'm gonna go," like." No, of course
This
they're
is-
gonna run away.
true.
I'm not that college kid that's going to go beat up a little kid, though. So I think Lauren might be.
Be throwing them over the bridge.
Oh my
Just kidding.
God.
And that is how you get kicked out of Disney World forever.
Yeah, before Lauren gets into trouble, I think we need to go ahead and go over to Africa.
Okay, I like it. Leave
Did you-
the
okay,
fake river
so-
behind.
Moving over into Africa, did you guys ever watch that? I don't know if the show has a title, but they just like randomly show up or hourly show up.
Yes.
I don't know. It seems like they're random. But like the acrobats over in Africa.
It's
You guys ever
so
seen that
cool.
show? I love
it.
that show. That
I
show
thought you were
needs to
talking about
stay.
I thought you were talking about the Up show, like the Bird show. I don't know anything about acrobats. I missed
I
that.
will always
completely.
walk past that. I don't ever go to that.
The Bird show, the Up Bird show. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking
Not
about?
worth it?
Yeah, I did it. I think I did it once.
I never
it-
did it. It didn't intrigue me at all.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just weird, but anytime I go to an amusement park or anything like that, I usually don't go to like those huge theater shows. Because I even know
Okay,
like
but-
Universal has a huge bird show or like dog stage, I don't even know what the show is. I've gone a couple times, but it's just so boring to me.
But Animal Kingdom doesn't have that many rides. It's like
True.
you got to fill up your day with something. Now, I was going to bring this up later when we were kind of closing, but I've heard a lot of people say that Animal Kingdom is a half-day park. You can do everything you want
Yes.
to do in a half day. I personally think that if you go to all the shows, then like it's a full day park. But you kind of have to go to the shows. Like you got to do Finding Nemo, you got to do the Up show. You have to do the Lion King show. We're not there yet. We'll get to that. But you got to do that.
True.
But
Yeah. I think you could make it a full day if you're walking through all the, the zoos and all that stuff and doing the train over to the petting zoo and stuff like
Vicky's
that.
Pet
But
Walk.
oh yeah. But I think that you could make it a half day for just the rides.
I mean, it's definitely a half day park for me personally.
If you get there early in the morning and then just like do the rides that you want to do, you could be done by
Yeah.
11 or 12 for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. You eat lunch. Oh, you do everything. You eat lunch at Animal Kingdom, and then my family and I usually just go back to Epcot,
Yeah.
or we go to Epcot, and then we usually just snack for the rest of the day and gain like 10, 15 pounds at one of the festivals. That's usually
Nice.
what we do.
There's even less rides at Epcot though.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm constantly having a fork and drink in hand.
Hey, this is not an
Gotta
Epcot.
fill
This
the
is not
day
an episode.
somehow.
This is not
I'm
an
riding the
episode
food
about
and
Epcot,
wine
but
festival ride.
y'all.
What is it?
True.
It is not an episode about Epcot, but if you want me to go ham and talk about how I don't like Epcot, I will.
No, we'll save that because I know that's definitely gonna be titled Hot Take.
Hot take.
It's gonna be a bunch of Gray's hot takes.
Hot take.
Okay, so now that it is time, though, however, let's go ahead and talk about Kilimanjaro safaris.
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, I actually have to tell you guys something. So I was on my way home from work. This like happened like last week. And one of my coworkers who was working somewhere else was talking to one of our clients. And our client said that they used to work at Disney and were a Kilimanjaro safari like truck driver. And that one time they accidentally bumped into a giraffe. And it didn't hurt the giraffe. Like the giraffe was fine, but the giraffe started like
What?
ramming into the front of the truck.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine if you were like you are a guest in the truck and like a giraffe just starts like jumping on top of the engine, like where the engine is, the hood of the truck, and like freaking, that would be so scary.
How would you accidentally hit a giraffe?
I have no idea. This happened. I think this happened like in the 80s. It was like a while ago.
Oh my
but I
gosh,
have no
that's
idea.
crazy.
And she didn't get fired, so I don't know.
I'd be traumatized
Dang.
after that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, so this is way back in the 80s. I was about to say, like, if this was like modern day, you would definitely have like a millennial or younger. You would see a TikTok of that within hours.
Oh, within seconds. It would be a live video on like Periscope or something being recorded. I mean,
The giraffe would
be
just be
all over
slamming
that.
hooves on the hood, and
Yeah.
all you'd hear is, "Oh, that's mine."
oh, the girl's gonna be like this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh
I
my
love that
gosh.
ride because it's so unique. I don't think you can do a safari anywhere else in the US. Maybe you can. I've never heard of one. But I
Oh.
love the variety of animals, and I feel like the drivers are so knowledgeable and can give you just like quick but interesting facts all throughout. I remember the first time I went there in 2018 and we did the Kilimanjaro safaris. They still had that part by the crocodiles where the bridge would shake and they would pretend like something was happening. And I hated that. And so when I rode it, when I went for my DCP, I was so glad that they took that out because you're just looking over at the crocodiles. And of course, they're going to make sure it's safe. But they had this little bit where they would pretend like the bridge was breaking. And I
Mhm.
did not like that. And
Okay,
apparently
so-
enough people didn't like it that they took it out.
I was about to say, so is that the reason why they took it away? Because I was sitting there like on my whole Disney college program. I was like, I swear one of these bridges shake. And then they just
Yeah.
never did. So then I was
wonder
just like,
I wonder if it's kind of like the Yeti in Expedition Everest, that it like
damage the
it's
structure.
just like so old that it eventually is just like not working well, and they would have to shut down the ride for a while. And like that's a big staple of Animal Kingdom. So if you shut down that ride, like no one's
Yeah.
going.
Very
Or it
true,
could
yeah.
have just terrified little children and then the rest of the ride they're not enjoying it. Which I still
Well, then
enjoyed it after that, but I
Those
was kind
children
of
need to
like
grow up.
freaked out and then like, hey, you know what?
Yeah, and
Did
Lauren,
you ever ride it when it was like that? It was freaky.
Okay, so I don't remember like that part specifically, but the one thing I do remember that I kind of missed. So the first time I ever went to Disney World was 2007, and when we rode that ride, the driver acted like we were gonna be gone for 2 weeks. It was like a 2-week safari,
yeah.
and then like at the very end there were like two roads, but one of them had like a big road closed sign, and he like came up with the story, was like, oh no, the like rhinos are gonna kill us if we go that way. Guess we have to go this way. And then like all of a sudden we were back at the beginning. Like we were back at the like loading
Yeah.
platform or whatever. And so I think I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like the storyline of like you're going on a huge safari and we're all gonna be friends. And but I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Because I feel like during our DCP, which was the last time I was there and rode it, it was just like, look at these animals. Here's a fun fact about them. See you later. And like
Yep.
that's cool because you get to see the animals, but like it takes away the story of like the whole Disney having the story behind everything. Like I just
Mhm.
wish that the whole story was there and not just like this is an okapi, although it kind of looks like a zebra. It's actually a close relative of a giraffe. And then like going on to whatever else.
See, but I feel like with a ride like Jungle Cruise, you have to have a storyline because everything is fake. And if you didn't have the storytellers, it wouldn't be a great ride, but that's what makes it. But I feel like the uniqueness of being out with those really rare animals just like speaks for itself, and people love that for that reason. But I do see what you're saying though.
That's a good
I
point.
think that can add to it for sure.
That's probably true. Okay,
But I
round robin. Favorite animal on the safari ride? Go.
oh gosh. I always love seeing the lions, probably.
Even though
They're
they're
so
asleep all the time.
Yeah, even though you like
That's fair.
rarely see them.
Because they sleep
That's
during the
fair.
day.
Those are the giraffes, because you can really drive right by the giraffes, and it's so cool to see them just walking right next to you.
That's true.
I think I'd probably have to go with like the crocodiles and alligators.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah. I used to
He was like ready for
still
those
do.
bridges to fall. He was like, I hope it falls so we can swim with it.
Well, see, I used to be a huge fan of Steve Irwin before he passed, right? Like, you know, I had like stuffed animal alligators. I would act like I'd wrestle the alligator
Aw.
while I was watching Steve Irwin when I was like little.
That's
So it's like
cute.
any time that I would ever see like an alligator or crocodile, which of course my first Disney trip, I was 7 years old. So that was like, I think right around the time Steve Irwin died. So it's just, I remember seeing the crocodiles and that was like the only thing I cared about on that ride. And of course the bridge shaking, I was like, I don't want to be that close to these things. But I was
If
like,
it
yeah.
happens, it happens.
Well, yeah, and Disney protocol. Don't know if I should be saying this, but protocol, whatever. It just makes sense. But if somebody was to like fall out and into the alligator / crocodile pit, the driver's just supposed to drive off. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
I did. Yeah, I did know that.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Which
because
sucks.
if anything happens, they don't want the other guest in the vehicle to see like
A person
That
getting
sounds
forwarded.
awful.
Yeah.
I understand
Well,
it.
you got to think
There's
about
no
that
way
though.
that would
There's
ever happen, but yeah.
no,
Oh,
I highly
no.
doubt it, but you never know. I hope it never happens. But
True.
I mean, yeah, it only makes sense. As morbid as that sounds, it only makes sense because you have one person falling into a pit of 30 crocodiles, and then you have
the
20
chance
other
of survival
people
on that is not
watching
high.
it. It just makes sense to drive off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you guys have not been on that ride since COVID has happened. I will tell you guys right now, Kilimanjaro safaris, for me, I'd probably rate it like a 6 out of 10. With them having the COVID clear things
Shields.
that have no airflow, that drops it down to like a 2 out of 10 because as soon as I sit down, I'm just like, all right, Sandy, really don't care about these animals. I just want my oxygen.
Yeah, I bet it's really hot.
Oh, dude, it sucks. No airflow at all. Like I'm just like, can you shift up to third gear in this safari?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole freaking prairie out here.
That's
the worst.
so funny.
That's the only thing that
Gray,
sucks
what's
about it
your
right
favorite
now.
animal?
My favorite animal, so I have a couple. I really like the ones that like you never see anywhere else, that, like you don't see at another zoo. So the very first animal, the okapi, which is so fun. And then the like, what are they called? The like African wolf dogs or something that are like over to the left when you're driving onto the savannah. Like none of them have the same pattern. I think is really cool. And then, of course, the baobab tree. I know that's not an animal, but I think it's cool that they have like an actual baobab tree that's there.
That's true. That is really unique. I like that. Can we talk about
then-
the ostrich egg for a second?
And then
Yeah.
they're like this big around. They're like
The
ginormous.
fake ostrich egg?
Oh well, yeah.
Because
A lot of the trees in there are fake too.
Yeah.
I was so pumped that that was a real ostrich egg. And then I kept writing it over and over, and I was like, it's still there, like in the exact same spot. And then
Well,
one of you told
I
me it
will
was
say
fake.
it could be like it's not, but like it could be real, but it was just like left, by the mama ostrich, and then it
Yeah.
never was born because it wasn't
I
taken
guess just
care of.
a dud, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
Whatever.
I mean, that happens in nature. That's like a real thing that happens.
But I think it would
they
go
wouldn't
bad,
just leave
though.
it
I think
outright
it's just
by
a
the
fake
trail.
egg.
Yeah, it probably is, and it probably would go bad, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah. But I like how that ride feels pretty long. Like a lot of rides you wait in line and then it's over like that. But
Yeah.
with this one, I like that, you're out there for like a full, I don't know, 10 minutes or something.
Oh, way longer than that.
At least
Depending on
I was
the-
gonna say 15 to 20. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Oh.
25, 30.
Oh, okay.
It's not that
But
long.
that
It's not
I
that
doubt
long.
it.
that could be just with no airflow. The last couple times I went on there, 10
like
minutes
you're there
turned
for
into
an
20 real
hour.
fast when you're
It's
sweating.
it's not that long, but it's an interesting ride because like that's one of the only rides that like you have no idea what your wait time is going to be. Like they'll give you an average of like 20
Right.
minutes, but if a
Yep.
truck breaks down like in the middle of the thing, like you're there for 3
Yeah.
hours. Or if like an animal is crossing the road, like if giraffe is crossing the thing and they go really slow, like that slows down the whole process. So you
That's
really have
true.
no idea. That's like one of the only ones that you can't really complain about wait times because you have no idea what's happening on the safari.
True.
Great. I think it's time to talk about
Okay, my friend. So you leave Kilimanjaro Safari. You head into Africa, and there's a lot of cool shops. There's always some like good music playing, and you're like walking, and then you're like, I'm gonna go towards Pandora. That's like a good area to go towards. And you're like walking, and you're like, was this a show? That sounds great. It's kind of hot out here. I need to go inside and watch this show. It starts in 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and get in line. My friends, this is the Festival of the Lion King, and this is the best show in all of Disney World, the best show on property. If you don't go and see it, you have wasted your money when you go to Animal Kingdom because it is the best thing in Animal Kingdom. I love Flight of Passage. I love a lot of the other rides, but the Festival of the Lion King show, there is acrobatics, there is amazing music and singing, there is incredible puppetry and audience participation, which is the best because when I can sing and dance along with the actors and they encourage it, I am here for it. Yeah. So if anyone has anything bad to say about that show, go ahead and leave because I don't want to hear it.
I think that's the only festival outside of Epcot that happens on Disney property.
It happens every single day, 6 to 7
True.
times a day.
And it's a good festival.
It's so good. And one of my
Yeah.
favorite things about that show is that all of the characters that are on the floats are like actual puppets. They're not animatronics. They're not like there are people inside of them controlling them. And so people go in and they like actually interact with you. So when the lion section stuff happens, like Simba will look at you and like blink his eyes in like a certain way. And like if you say something, he might like nod at you during the show. Like it's very real as it can be.
Not gonna lie, didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're real puppets. They're not animatronics.
You know that, Lauren?
No, I didn't know that.
Wow. You guys are learning stuff every single day. I'm so
I
proud I can
love
bring you
it.
all these knowledge.
But yeah, see, I'm not a huge fan of shows. So, I mean, I love Festival of Lion King. Like, that is one show that I will definitely go to. And I'm not necessarily talking about, like, I'm not including the night shows when I say that I don't like shows because all the night shows are great for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just like during the day shows. Festival of the Lion King is one I will always go to. I will never pass up Festival of Lion King.
Also, Festival of the Lion King, the air conditioning is like so good. Like it's so good.
Oh yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
break.
It's the best.
The one thing I
And
have
then-
about the way the auditorium is that there's no backs on the chairs. You're just sitting on a bench. And that
Oh,
is
yeah.
bothersome to some people with back
That's-
problems.
That is Mama Lauren
true.
coming out.
I mean, that's
Like,
true.
come on, people, can
But
we get some background singing?
but I mean, I think there's also like a reason for it. Like that show's a little bit longer, and like just towards the
Yeah.
end of it is when you like really start to get kind of comfortable in your seat. But they don't want you to get too comfortable, or you're not gonna leave.
Wow, that is very insightful of you.
Thank you. I should be like an Imagineer or something. That'd be so fun.
You could. But yeah, no, that show is great. I love the variety in it. I mean, they have singing and dancing, and they have acrobatics with the monkeys, and like they bring out the trampolines, and then they just have singing, and they have the fire dancer. So I just like how they have all of that, and their transitions are so smooth that
Yes.
there's not one bad section of the variety show.
And Timon.
And truly, well, I
Timon.
was just about to say that one of the best parts of the show is Timon and his like comedic, hilarious, perfect time jokes. And then
Yep.
at the
Right.
very end, he gets on and he goes, "Hello there, this is Timon. We're so glad you came to the show. Now, get out!" And then they like go through all the safety stuff. But like that is so funny. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
It is. And remember one time we were just walking by it, and that guy came out and said, "Hey, do you guys want to sit in the front?" So we got to go in the side, and we got a front row seat. That was super
so
fun.
good.
Yeah.
I've never sat that close.
Best day. No, Lauren and I, we were like walking, and I think the line had like started, and I don't know. I think Lauren and I might have been like on the way out, or like we were gonna pass it, but the show was like
Yeah.
gonna start soon, and they had like just a couple of extra seats. And one of the guys came out and was like, "Hey, are you guys going to the Festival of the Lion King show?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "Great, we got 2 front row seats for you." And I was like, "This
Yeah,
is
we're
the best
going.
day of my life.
We're going now.
I don't care if I have to go to work in an hour. I'll be late. This is the best day of my life."
Yeah, that was fun.
Was that the day also that I got chosen to be the Warhog?
I think it was because you were right up front. Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot about
How
that.
did I never hear about this?
It was so good.
It was the best day of his life,
best.
I think.
It was so good, Jeff. It was such a good day. I'm gonna start crying just thinking about it. Ugh.
I was gonna say that's why you came over later that night to everybody, and you had red watery eyes.
Yeah, probably. It was such a
Exactly.
good day.
He was
I got to be
touched.
in the Lion King show.
You did.
They were like, "What does a warhog sound like?" And I like did my thing, and the girl was like, "Do you need a tissue?" That was the most disgusting thing I ever heard. I love it.
Wow. I'm so glad you did that and not me.
Yeah, because they hope. Okay, so with the sections, great. You're obviously gonna know them, but there's 4 sections for the people that just don't know. There's warthog section, lion
There's
section.
The warthog section, the lion section, the giraffe section, and the elephant section. The mighty pachyderm.
I was about to say, and then that's where basically a lot of the audience participation comes from as well.
Mhm.
Basically, got to be the loudest and all that stuff.
Yep. So each section does like their animal voices. And then there's also a competition at the end. The giraffes and the elephants do the Weemaways, and the warthogs and the lions do the high parts of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And it's supposed to be like, which section won? But like, it's like they both go like, we both won. That was amazing. But like, it's so fun. I get so into it. When my family came to visit, there's a video of me like jamming to the music, and my brother's sitting next to me, and he just like rolls his eyes, and he's like, "I can't believe I'm related to this person." But like, it's it's so funny.
It's
Yeah, see,
so
the only
fun.
time
There's
I'm
no way you
gonna-
can't get into it.
Oh yeah. See, the only time I'm gonna participate in being super loud and with being the audience in that ride is when I look over across the way and I see one of those kids from the bridge. I'm like, away,
Jeff's like trying to call him out. He's like, "Oh wait, mama, oh wait, mama," like across the thing, and the kid just like, the kid just like trying to sway, and he starts freaking out. He's like, "Mom, what the heck? This guy's."
She said we both won, but we really know who won.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're gonna switch over to my favorite part of Animal Kingdom, Pandora.
Mm.
I was gonna guess
It's
the exit, but I was close.
That's second. As long as I get to ride Flight of Passage every time I step foot inside the glorified zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So rude.
Yeah, Jeff,
So
you're
rude.
gonna get canceled.
Who isn't getting canceled?
Oh, true. Flight of Passage is the best.
Oh,
I
100%.
waited in line one time for that ride. And
And
then
how long
after
was the
that,
wait?
an hour, no, 2 hours. It was 2 hours. Which, like,
Lucky.
it was a good ride, but that was 2 hours wasted my life.
I've waited
Um,
3.
I waited 4, and I'm not making that up. I'm not
Oh.
doing the 2, 3, 4 thing.
I
Like I
think-
genuinely waited 4 with a fast pass. This
You
regular
waited 4 hours with a fast pass?
That was January
How?
of 2018, because they just opened like mid of 17, so it was still like brand new. The regular waiting line was, I think it was like 9 or 10 hours. I'm like, you're spending your whole day in line just to ride this
Who
ride.
would
It is
wait
the
That's
for
greatest
not worth
ride,
it.
the greatest ride that isn't a coaster, but it's still not worth waiting 8 or 9 hours. Like if you just give it like
No.
another half a year to a full year, it's like walk on as soon as park opens, you know?
But I
It's
will
not
say,
worth 4 hours.
Okay,
I
so
think-
the first time it definitely was worth 4 hours. Just I was also with family and everything, and it was just like, oh, vacation. Like didn't even know anything about me possibly doing a Disney college program, living there for 6 months, doing it all the time. I was just like, oh, like we're only gonna do this like every time we visit, so we have to do it now, and we have fast pass. So we all basically just got snacks and drinks. That is the worst I've ever had to pee ever in a line. Like literally, I had
I
to
bet.
get out of line, and then I had to get harassed all the way back to my family. But it was so worth it because I lost like
They
10 pounds of fluid
they
Oh.
installed bathrooms halfway through that queue line
yeah.
just for that. Yeah.
because the line is so long and has
Yeah,
been
this was-
since opening day. Like normally
This was
opening day happens
before
and the line like
they had
lets
those
up.
bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
But I will
Yeah.
say, if you go in the morning, you're not always guaranteed that it's going to be shorter, because when my sister was here, it was Thanksgiving break in November,
Oh yeah.
and we got there right when the at rope drop, and it's still, the line immediately went up to 2.5 hours before we even got to it. So I feel like when we were there, a lot of times we would wait until it was about to close, because if you get in line for a ride right before they close, then you can still wait as long as it takes you to ride the ride.
Well, now Disney has come out with the new Genie Plus thing, and I don't know when that's gonna start, but
Not happy about it.
so the first time I ever rode it, I waited 2 hours and I was like, okay, like it was a great ride, but like 2 hours, that was too long. I
Yeah.
figured out what time the fast passes came out. The fast passes like for that ride came out at 11:01 in the morning. And so every time I would go to Animal Kingdom, I would go do other things and just be on the app at 11:01 and like book a fast pass as soon as I could and then go ride it. But other than my first time ever riding it, I never waited because I wasn't going to wait when I knew I could get a fast pass.
Right.
But see, now it's really only busy, or at least it seemed like this. It was only busy in the mornings and at nights on our program. Like throughout the whole day, it would like jump down to 10, 15-minute wait. Or even if it said 45, which I'd wait 45 minutes to ride it here
45.
and there.
I would wait 45. Yeah.
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 Especially if I'm with like you guys, I have somebody to talk to. Now, if I was with somebody that, you know, I felt awkward and I was just like, man, shouldn't have had a park day with them, which luckily I never had that. But I would hate that, you know, or like if I was by myself, it'd be like 45 minutes, I'll just go another day.
You know what that ride needs is a single rider line. I don't think it has one, and it needs one.
Yeah,
True.
it does.
But
Because I feel like
They
single rider
don't.
could like they could easily throw a couple on there.
Yeah.
but it doesn't really
And
come
how-
in handy, because when they're placing people in the queues, they do it based on the numbers. It's not like a roller coaster where if you're 3 of you, then there has to be like a single spot. Since they have
No, but I think-
rows of seats, they always
Yeah, but I
fill
think
them.
it's like let's say there's 16 spots. If there's 3 groups of 5, that's only 15 people. You can put a 16th person on there. Like you got that
Yeah.
single, you can put that, and I feel like that happens often.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
I feel
also,
like
but I
the
also
magic
think the,
number at Disney was always like, it was never even number. It was always like 7 or 9. Like anytime I had to deal with like a big group at my work location, which wasn't often because usually it was just like one person buying something or one person would go get the wheelchair. But you know, you just like look behind them and it would always be like 7 or 9. It was never like 6 or 8 or 10. It was always just a weird number.
Yeah.
but I think Disney like plans for 4. Because like I think the reason that Flight of Passage is 16 per row rather than 15 per row is because you can do 4 families of 4.
Yeah.
But going back to the hours at Animal Kingdom, I feel like it's the least busiest there at night because they aren't going to have like a cool fireworks show, and they close earlier than the other parks. So I feel like that's the best time to ride those, like ride Flight of Passage, because everyone is pretty much leaving because they aren't going to stick around for a show or anything like that.
And because
which I think is why it gets busy.
A lot of people feel that Animal Kingdom is a half-day park. So they go in the morning, do the half-day park, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then the afternoon is normally lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that area is so cool with all the neon paint that they have everywhere at night. It just makes it so cool. And like the music change as soon as you get over there. It's just a really unique area. And I really like the theming, especially with that huge, whatever that floating thing is that they have built.
The islands, we'll just call them islands, I guess. Rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool how they did build that.
Like the floating mountains, yeah. Okay, let's talk quickly about Navi River Journey. I personally love this ride. I know it's just another boat ride, but I also personally love it.
Why?
Why do I love it? Because that animatronic at the very end that's like that's like I get into that
love
song
it too.
and I'm like, sing it, girl, like you're killing it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Is that a guy doing it?
Is it?
No, it's a girl.
Oh,
I think it's a girl.
It's a very classy singing woman. And then she restarts. I'm dying. Lauren, how do you feel about the river journey?
Oh, I mean, it's cool. I love all the colors and the different plants in it. And when you look up and see those overhangs in the leaves, it looks like there's like something crawling on the other side because you just see the shadow. So I really like the colors and everything and how it's like luminescent or whatever. But if the line is long, I'm just gonna skip it personally.
Yeah, and it's always hanging around like 75 minutes.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a little bit too long. It needs 45 or less, but 75 is too long. But I do think if you aren't able to see Pandora at night, if you're not able to see Pandora at night, you should go on that ride because you get a little bit of the glimpse of like the colors and like the glowy stuff that you would at night in the rest of Pandora.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it would make, I was about to say, if you haven't rode the ride before, ride it at nighttime. Because you go in, you know, it's bright as heck outside. And then you walk in and it's just basically like a dark ride, kind of like Peter Pan, but like very, very updated and very moderate and up to date with technology. And then you come back outside and you're like, that was a good ride. You know?
Yeah, and you're blind.
So it's like if you go from like everything around you glowing and looking luminescent, and then you go to the ride where it's luminescent, like it feels more like thematic, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of that queue line is outside, which I don't like either.
Yeah, I don't either.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Not everything can be inside.
And I definitely, before we even get away from River Journey, I definitely have to shout out to my roommate from the Disney College program, Marco, because I took him on that. Marco! I took him on that ride for the first time. It was him, Melanie, and I. And for like the rest of the night, like, you know, I'd look over. Of course, the rooms were tiny, but I'd be like trying to go to sleep. And I'd like look over and he's like doing homework with the lights on because he didn't have a lamp or anything. And he's just over there. He's like, oh, hey, wow. And I was just like, yeah.
I love that. I love that.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I still have the video, so I'll go ahead and like pop it in like right now.
What?
Ah, hey, wow. Ah, hey, wow. Ah, hey, wow.
Yeah.
And then we'll come
Wow,
back.
that was a great video.
Yeah, what a great video of Marco. Yeah, dude, I miss that guy. But
Okay,
yeah, like,
so
go ahead.
I was gonna transition. Go ahead.
No, I was just basically gonna say, like, if that didn't happen, like if I didn't have that memory, the river journey would be like, okay. The animatronic is incredible, don't get me wrong, but I have that memory of Marco. So it's just like river journey. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great ride. All right, Lauren, I'm very interested. You really wanted to be on this episode about Animal Kingdom. Where does Animal
Right.
Kingdom fall in your ratings of the parks? Like one,
Oh,
one through
no.
4.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, she really
This is
did
hard
push
because
that.
once I say this, then once I say whatever rating it is, it's gonna be on record forever and I can't ever change it.
Well,
Hey, ours are, if it makes
get
you
it
feel
right
any
then.
better, ours is already on record as well.
Yeah, ours is on record.
Oh.
And I
Okay.
also told a
Oh,
bunch of
gosh.
people if they had the same order that I'd give them a free trip with Mickey ice cream. So I kind of messed up with being on the record.
Whoops.
So you
Oh,
can't do much
gosh.
worse than I
mean,
can.
It's pretty high up there. It would probably be, I'd probably say it's second.
Wow.
Behind what though?
Wow. Yeah, what's your number
Hollywood
1?
Studios, probably.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, good. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
And then
But-
would it? Okay, so I have to finish the list. It's gonna drive me crazy. What's third?
I think I know the rest of her list. So go ahead.
Oh gosh, I guess it'd be Magic Kingdom and then Epcot. Sorry, Kylie. I know you're gonna be so upset about that.
Throw Epcot out
I
the
do
window.
like Epcot with it just has so few rides. I still love going to it, but it's just a different experience. So yeah, that'd probably be my rating right now, but that could change in the future. I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just remember asking. I was just like, "Hey, Lauren, you want to be on the podcast?" Yeah. Okay. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about Disney's Animal Kingdom. And I'm like, okay,
Okay.
we will
what we're
talk
gonna
about
do.
Disney's
Fun,
Animal
and it's-
Kingdom.
It's just so enjoyable to be there and with all the music, and it's so pretty to walk around in. And I do like the variety of rides that they have, and that they do have some big thrill rides still.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you're exiting Animal Kingdom, the only place to go on your way out, Rainforest Cafe.
No.
Oh,
we had to end the podcast where we started, my friends. I'm sorry.
I wonder. Yeah, that was pretty good. But on a serious note, though, I wonder how many times they have to go through guests accidentally having a reservation at Disney Springs and then they go to Animal Kingdom, or like vice
Oh my
versa.
Gosh.
I just don't think they should.
I've
have
never
one there.
thought
I
about
get
that.
it fits the theme, but it's so generic. It shouldn't be.
It's too commercialized.
No, I
Yeah.
agree. I think Rainforest Cafe kind of kills the vibe right there at the beginning of the park. But luckily there is kind of like that quote unquote like drapery in front of the stage
Transition.
of Animal Kingdom, I'm gonna call it. Yeah, transition. Because like there's like the gate, then Rainforest Cafe, and there's like you go up that hill that Lauren was talking about earlier with all
Right.
the like jungle stuff, and then you're in Animal Kingdom. It's not like you walk in and like boom, you're there. So that's
Yeah.
like kind of good.
That's true. It is kind of hidden, which is nice.
I wonder why Disney has Rainforest Cafe there, especially since they have 2 on property. That's kind of
They're
weird.
probably just a big partner.
I mean, would you imagine if they had like a T-Rex back in Dino Land? That's like doubled up. Like that would suck.
I mean,
But that'd be more legit than a generic Rainforest Cafe.
True.
yeah.
I do like the T-Rex better than Rainforest, but it's because I used to go to Rainforest all the time when I was a kid. So it's like
Hmm.
I get to stare at dinosaurs instead of gorillas now. Like cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that we were able to talk about Animal Kingdom today, and I'm so glad that Lauren was able to join us.
I know, it's so fun. Thanks for having me on. I loved
I was
it.
about to say, how was your first podcast ever?
It was pretty great. You guys made it easy.
Good. Well, we can't wait to have you on again in the future.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
But until then, everyone be sure to like and subscribe to the Goofy Scoop so you can get notifications for every single episode that comes out. Follow us on Instagram at the Goofy Scoop. We try to post weekly. And yeah, we'll keep you updated with any other guests that are coming on our episodes. We're going to have a lot more fun in the future. And if you haven't already, listened to our past episodes because they're pretty good.
Oh, yeah. And you know what this means, guys? Outro music. So let's dance.
Not funny.
And we didn't talk about her freaky long arms, but that's like, is she about to touch me? I don't know.